Business Book Summaries. Summary of Multipliers by Liz Wiseman. What kind of leader do you truly want to be? Introduction. Your leadership aspirations. Take a moment to reflect honestly. What kind of leader do you aspire to be? Are you driven by the desire to inspire, nurture growth, and bring out the best in others? Or is power and control your primary motivation for leadership? This is a crucial question worth considering. Why leadership matters to you if you lean more towards the latter? It doesn't make you a villain. We all appreciate recognition and influence, and power can be tempting. However, it's essential to realize that our leadership style has a profound impact on those around us, either positively or negatively. Think of TV shows like The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or Superstore. They feature terrible bosses we can relate to because we've encountered such leaders in our lives. We may laugh at their incompetence, but imagine being the boss everyone ridicules. No one wants that as their legacy, which is why Liz Wiseman explores the difference between multipliers and diminishers in her book. In this summary, we'll explore what distinguishes a good boss from a bad one and how you can enhance your leadership. Chapter 1. Defining your leadership aspiration. You might not have seriously considered this question before, but it's a crucial starting point for your leadership journey. Your answer determines whether your team feels inspired and motivated or contemplates undermining you. None of us wants to be disliked, but diminishers often provoke such feelings. Let's discover what characterizes a diminisher and how to eliminate those traits from your leadership style. A diminisher lives up to their name. They stifle ideas that aren't their own and prioritize self-promotion over excellence. Even when an employee presents a brilliant idea, a diminisher's insecurity may cause them to dismiss it or favor their own solution. Unintentionally, this makes employees feel disrespected and insignificant. Such behavior fosters resentment and dampens motivation, making employees dread their work. Diminishers earn their name because they sap motivation and creativity from those around them. In contrast, multipliers are quite the opposite. They have confidence in their abilities and aim to leverage their talents to bring out the best in others. They forge genuine connections, recognize team members' goals and strengths, and invest their resources in helping them grow. To become a multiplier, begin by asking yourself, how can I inspire someone today? Chapter 2. Becoming a talent magnet. Think of a magnet's role. It draws things to itself. Now, picture yourself as a human equivalent of this magnet, but more specifically, a talent magnet. It might seem unconventional, but this is the concept Liz Wiseman puts forth. Multipliers not only inspire others, they also attract talented individuals through 4 essential practices. First, broaden your search for talent beyond conventional criteria. Recognize talents that don't necessarily require a college degree or fit traditional molds. Second, dig deeper to understand each person's unique skills and what truly engages and excites them, what we call their flow. Collaborate closely with your team to help them nurture their passions. Third, place each team member in roles that align with their skills and passions. Avoid the common mistake of misassigning talents, which leads to dissatisfaction and untapped potential. Lastly, as a multiplier, your role is to eliminate obstacles that impede your employees' progress, tackle interpersonal conflicts, and adjust roles to promote better teamwork. Incorporating these practices will lead to a happier, more successful team, and your leadership will become a powerful catalyst for positive change. The 3 steps to effective leadership we've discussed. 3 steps to enhance your leadership. But remember, these steps only work when you clear away any hindrances your team may face. Ensure you empower your team in the most effective manner. Furthermore, you can employ additional strategies to maintain your team's happiness, health, and motivation, building on what we've already explored. The author recommends acknowledging specific qualities in your employees. Once you've identified their talents, let them know. We've all experienced the pleasure of flourishing under someone's praise, and a great leader can provide that gift to others. Seek ways to uplift your team members. This approach can also refine the second step we discussed earlier, which involves placing each person in roles that leverage their strengths. Lastly, recognize when it's time to part ways with someone. Imagine you have an exceptional employee who's excelling and whom you value on your team. However, if they've reached a point where they can't grow further in their current role with your organization, it might be time to part on amicable terms. Perhaps they've received a better job offer or need to relocate. In such situations, it's crucial to let them go gracefully. Anything less would go against the principles of being a multiplier. Chapter 3: The Tyrant and the Liberator. Now that we've explored the positive impact of multipliers, let's delve deeper into the subtleties of leadership styles. Most of us don't fit neatly into one category. We may exhibit traits of both multipliers and diminishers at times. In this chapter, we'll examine the spectrum of leadership styles, with a focus on the extremes. At the far end of the spectrum is the tyrant, a leader characterized by cruel and dictatorial behavior. These bosses incessantly criticize their employees, seem to take pleasure in belittling them, and display a lack of compassion. Working for a tyrant is an utterly miserable experience. On the flip side of the spectrum, among multipliers, we find liberators. These super multipliers create an environment where positive pressure drives people to excel and become better versions of themselves. The encouraging news is that anyone can evolve into a liberator, even if they started as a tyrant. The author proposes 3 practices to help you become a super multiplier, building upon the strategies we've discussed in previous chapters. First, grant your team the space to work. Avoid micromanagement and excessive suggestions that stifle your employees' independence. Trust in their capabilities and respect their expertise. Second, foster a culture of excellence. Encourage your employees to strive for their best work by eliminating the fear of failure. Excellence thrives when people are motivated by inspiration rather than fear. Third, demonstrate to your team that making mistakes is acceptable as long as they contribute to growth. A growth-oriented culture doesn't tolerate carelessness or laziness, but removes the fear factor and promotes learning from honest mistakes. These 3 practices coalesce to create a company culture defined by the pursuit of excellence. Your team will be inspired to do their best when they understand that failure is merely a stepping stone to improvement. In practice, this approach eradicates the fear of making mistakes while fostering a commitment to ongoing learning and growth. Let's illustrate with an example. Imagine you have a new team member who is unfamiliar with the software needed for her project. Despite her enthusiasm and eagerness to excel, she's still learning. Unfortunately, while navigating the new software, she accidentally presses the wrong key and deletes all the project data she requires. The fear of job loss, data recovery, and colleagues' judgment must weigh heavily on her. In this situation, a liberator acknowledges her concerns and helps her relinquish that fear. This is achieved by illustrating that in a workplace that values excellence and embraces mistakes as learning opportunities, her error is acceptable because it was an honest mistake that contributes to her growth. She didn't intend to delete the data, and now she has a deeper understanding of the software and what to avoid. This exemplifies the beauty of working in a liberator's environment. Instead of berating or immediately terminating her, you choose to transform it into a learning experience. Consequently, she'll not only appreciate your support, but also feel more motivated to excel. Isn't that the hallmark of an exceptional workplace? In conclusion, in both life and leadership, perfection eludes us, and no one consistently gets everything right. Nevertheless, some individuals ignite the best in others, while others stifle their potential. This distinction leads the author to categorize leaders into 2 primary types: multipliers and diminishers, with varying shades in between, including the extraordinary multipliers called liberators and the most detrimental diminishers known as tyrants. The good news is that regardless of where you currently stand on this spectrum, there's always room for improvement. You can initiate this process by assessing your leadership style against the fundamental principles of multipliers. If you discover tendencies toward relentless criticism or the dismissal of others' ideas in favor of your own, reflect upon the essential query of a multiplier. How can I inspire someone today? This shift in perspective can guide you toward embracing multiplier values and adopting the traits of a talent magnet and liberator. Ultimately, it empowers you to cultivate a workplace culture that prioritizes positive reinforcement, enabling everyone to pursue excellence without the fear of failure. That concludes our journey today. Thank you, and may you have an exceptional day. If you found this summary valuable, consider subscribing to the Business Book Summaries channel.